Hey guys, my name is Gabby. Welcome back to my channel, and today I'm going to be doing the 25 bookish facts about me. This is maybe it's a tag, I don't know. I've seen it going around YouTube now for quite some time now, and I thought, why not talk more and get to know each other better, right? Let's go. My favorite genre is contemporary. I wish I could afford hardbacks for every single book I read. I just prefer hardbacks when I'm reading them, and when I look at them on my shelves, it's just hardbacks are like so beautiful, but they're so expensive. So I will frequently go to the library and check out a book and like read the first 100 pages to see if it's something I like, and then I will take it back and go to the bookstore and purchase the book so I can like highlight and tab in it and like write on my feels in the book. And I actually do that like all the time, where I'll be checking a book out of the library first just to see if I like it, and then going out and purchasing the book like the next day. I rarely will ever buy a book that I haven't read some sort of preview for, unless it's one of my favorite authors, because I've had bad luck in the past with spontaneously just buying a book that I've never really heard about and then ending up not liking it and then regretting spending like a ton of money on this brand new book. 9 out of 10 times I really find myself disliking extremely popular books. I don't know why I tend to dislike overhyped books. My favorite time of day to read is in the morning, if I can be awake for it. I really love the like 9 to 11 a.m. hour to read, or I like to read really late at night, like right before I'm about to fall asleep. I prefer to read standalone books as opposed to series, which I know is not that common, but I have a lot of trouble sticking with series, and I find it easier if I could just read one book and just kind of like be done with that, because like I can't remember what happened in the first book if it's been a long time. I haven't read Harry Potter, and I don't really want to. Sorry. I'm totally guilty of checking Goodreads on a book before I even consider reading it, and most of the time I won't want to read a book if it has lower than a 3.5 on Goodreads. I love reading books that take place in New York City. I just think New York is like one of the most magical, beautiful places in the whole world, and I love the atmosphere in a book when it takes place in New York City. It just makes me that much more interested in the story. I love books that talk about astronomy and like the universe and like things like that. Like I'm total nerd when it comes to astronomy and outer space, and I love it. And like some examples would include, like in the book Skyscraping, Aristotle and Dante discovered the secrets of the universe, and We Are the Ants. Like the way it talks about the universe and astronomy, like, oh, I just love it. I don't really have a preference between physical books and ebooks. I generally like to read both. However, I do like to read physical copies of books during the day, and then like late at night when I'm reading, I like to read ebooks because I can like lay horizontally and read, which is really nice because you can't really like lay horizontally with a physical book. I've bought most of my books cheap, or I've used a coupon to buy like the new releases. I will rarely ever spend full price on a book. I've always kind of like dreamed of being a writer someday. Like as a kid, I wrote this ridiculous series called Blastos, this story about how this king was selling poisonous cereal to children, and it was like this big crazy dystopian, you know. Then in middle school I started writing like fan fiction with my sister. In my first year of college I started a story on Wattpad, but I like lost inspiration really quickly, and I only wrote about 3 or 4 chapters of it. But I don't know, it's like I have this desire in me to want to write. I just can't seem to like get my ideas organized and just sit down and actually do it, you know? I haven't actually listened to an audiobook yet. There is one audiobook that I'm planning on reading sometime soon, because it's The Great Gatsby on audiobook, and it's narrated by Jake Gyllenhaal, because Jake Gyllenhaal's bae. I've never actually been to a book signing by an author. Like the only signed books I own are books that I won in giveaways or are signed at Barnes & Noble. I have never reread a book, which I know it sounds like crazy, like, because I have so many books that I would love to reread, but like, you have to understand, I just got obsessed with reading in like 2014. Like I have so much new content out there that I want to read that I just haven't had the time to reread one of my favorites. but maybe that'll happen this year, I don't know. Favorite childhood books included the Goosebumps series by R.L. Stine and the series of Unfortunate Events by Lemony Snicket. I also really loved Nancy Drew and A to Z Mysteries. My favorite book to movie adaptations are The Martian, Gone Girl, and Room. I love like tabbing and highlighting my books, and I'll occasionally write in them. I've just started doing that recently, but I don't have any like color codes for tabs. Like I'll just base it off the color of the book. So like whatever color the front cover is, I put the tabs, or I at least try to make the tabs the same color just because I think it looks really beautiful. Yeah, and same with this one. It's like a lime green tabs with The Perks of Being a Wallflower just because, I don't know, I think it looks nice. I love reading with music that fits the mood of the book. For like contemporaries and romances, I really like listening to indie music like Vance Joy and Benjamin Francis Leftwich and Jose Gonzalez. When I read action and dystopian books, I really love listening to like movie soundtracks, and preferably anything composed by Hans Zimmer like Interstellar and Inception. When I was a kid, there was this program at my elementary school where you could like write a short story. If you got picked, like they would act out your short story, like these professional actors and stuff. When I was in like 5th or 6th grade, they actually chose my story to be acted out, and it was like really cool. My story was about how this princess didn't know what kind of animal she had to kiss for it to turn into a prince. So the whole story, she's like kissing cows and like zebras, and then at the end she finally kisses a frog and he turns into a prince. It was super cute, okay? So creative. But yeah, it was just really cool to see my own story get acted out. Like, wow, nothing makes you want to be a writer more than that, right? That's like the dream right there. This is like really terrible, I think. But when I was reading the Walking Dead comics a few months ago, I desperately needed volume 17, and it wasn't at the library. It was like completely checked out, and I couldn't get my hands on it, and that was the only one I needed. I had 18 through 24 in my possession, and I just needed to read volume 17. So I went to Barnes & Noble. I just grabbed volume 17 off the shelves, and I sat there in their couches at Barnes & Noble and read the entire thing in like 30 minutes and then put it back and left. I know that sounds so terrible, but like those Walking Dead volumes are each like $15, and like I can read it in 30 minutes. Yeah, that was the thing that happened. Sometimes when I'm in Barnes & Noble, I will like pick up a book I've never seen before, and I'll just like take a picture of it so I can look it up on Goodreads later, and then if it sounds interesting, I'll just order it off of like Amazon or something for hella cheaper. In 2014, that was like the first year that I actually read like a shit ton of books. Before 2014, the most books I had ever read in 1 year was like maybe 13. 2014 was definitely the first year I actually really got into reading. Alright, thank you so much for watching as always. This was really fun, and